Have we had a great conference thus far? I can't hear you. All right. Mayor Mick, I need a bottle of water, please. And I could use a quarter. I need to make a phone call. We're really proud of Mayor Mick Cornett. He does a great job for not only Oklahoma City, but he's a great ambassador for the state of Oklahoma. I'm here to introduce Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator Graham serves as the senior U.S. Senator from South Carolina. While attending college at the University of South Carolina, and he was a member of the ROTC, his mother died of Hodgkin's disease. He was just 21. His father died just 15 months later, leaving he and his 13-year-old sister as orphans. Senator Graham ultimately adopted and raised his younger sister. Lindsey Graham graduated from the University of South Carolina with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and he earned his Juris Doctorate at that same university's law school. And upon graduation, he was commissioned as an officer and a judge advocate in the United States Air Force. Senator Graham holds the rank of colonel as a reserve in the U.S. Air Force Judge Advocate General's Corps. He began his political career in 1992 when he was elected to the South Carolina House of Representatives. In 1994, he was elected to the U.S. House in the Republican Revolution, becoming the first Republican to represent that congressional district since 1877. After 4 terms in the U.S. House, in 2002, then Congressman Graham ran unopposed for the Republican nomination to succeed Senator Strom Thurmond, who chose not to seek re-election. In November 2014, he was re-elected to his 3rd term to the U.S. Senate. Please join me in welcoming via video South Carolina U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham.
Hello, I'm Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. God, do I wish I could be with you. I'm stuck in Washington. We're fighting about everything, and we're getting some things done. That's good news. It's good to be in charge. I'm glad Harry Reid's been fired. It gives us a chance to get something done finally after several years of Harry being in charge. But thank you very much for caring about our party. Thank you for coming to Oklahoma. If you've been to South Carolina, come back. If you haven't been, come on down. But either way, spend money. We need the help. The Southern Republican Leadership Conference is an opportunity for like-minded people who don't have accents, as far as I'm concerned, to sit down and talk about the pathway forward. We have the majority in the House and the Senate. To those who helped, God bless you. Firing Harry Reid was a huge step in the right direction. We're having votes that we could never have with him in charge. But we got to get the White House. There are about 25 of us running. All of us think we can beat Hillary Clinton. It's up to you to decide among this crowd who you want to represent our party in 2016. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to support our nominee, but I think I've got a case to be made as to why I should be that nominee. Number one, I think I can beat Hillary Clinton. I think she represents the past in the worst kind of way. She's the 3rd term of Barack Obama, a failed president. Her fingerprints are all over this failed foreign policy. How's the reset with Russia going, by the way? Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton did a better job of selling Obamacare than Obama did. And that's blown up in our face as a country. You know, big government liberalism had its chance for 6.5 years, and I think it's failing the average American. So if our party comes together and we get our act together, we should win in 2016. There's a reason it's hard to keep the White House 3 consecutive terms regarding the presidency. She is a continuation of the 3rd term of Barack Obama, and God knows the country needs to go in a better direction. So a little bit about me. I grew up in central South Carolina, a small town near Clemson University. It was a textile town. My family owned a restaurant, a pool room, and a liquor store. And everything I know about the Iranians, I learned in the pool room. I ran the pool room when I was a kid, and I met a lot of liars, and I know the Iranians are lying. But we lived in the back of the businesses, in one room in the back of the restaurant there. My mom and dad, neither one of them finished high school, but they're hard-working folks owning your own business. You have to get up every day, work 12, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you can't get sick because if you get sick, you don't get paid. So I learned a lot in that small town and that small business environment. I've got a 9-year younger sister, Darlene. So life was pretty good. I got in the University of South Carolina. I'm the first in my family to ever be able to go to college. When I was 21, things were going pretty good, and overnight it all changed. My mother was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease when I was 21, attending the University of South Carolina, and 6 months later she passed. 15 months after that, my dad died. I'm 22, my sister's 14. Those medical bills from my mother's disease wiped us out because we were underinsured, so I don't need a lecture from a Democrat about health care. I know what it's like to be underinsured, but I don't want the federal government running everything and putting us in a system where you get what the government gives you when they want to give it to you. If it weren't for Social Security survivor benefits coming to my sister from my parents' contribution, we'd had a hard time making it. Social Security to me is a program worth saving. When I was a 22-year-old young man, I certainly needed every penny coming into my family. I was blessed to have an aunt and uncle who never made over $25,000 in their life help me raise my sister Darlene. We made it through. My life got turned upside down, but because of family, friends, and faith, I stand before you today. And I do believe that America has to up her game to keep our way of life. There's two things that really bother me greatly. Our foreign policy is failing. Radical Islam is running wild, and it's just a matter of time before we get hit here at home if Obama doesn't change his policies. In 2011, I predicted that if we left no troops behind in Iraq like our military commanders recommended, the place would fall apart, and it has. To the soldiers who fought in Iraq, you did your job. There's a desire to blame President Bush for Iraq. President Bush made a decision based on the best evidence available. He made mistakes going in, but he was smart enough to correct. The surge did work. When I thought President Bush didn't have it right, I said so. The surge did work. By 2011, Iraq was in a secure place, political progress was moving forward, and the soldier did their job. It's Barack Obama who blew this. He left in spite of sound military advice. Withdrawing all of our forces to keep a campaign promise is the result of what you see today. That decision to withdraw all troops in spite of good military advice because he wanted to keep a campaign promise has allowed Iraq and Syria to become hell on earth. And it's just a matter of time if he doesn't change his policies that we're going to get hit here at home. There are thousands of foreign fighters going into Syria with Western passports that can get their way here. President Bush was smart enough to adjust his policies. He employed the surge when we needed a surge. President Obama is doubling down on a bad policy. The next time you vote for President of the United States, make sure that you're voting for a commander-in-chief that knows what the hell they're doing. Leading from behind is not working. I've been more right than wrong when it comes to foreign policy. And I've been Obama's chief critic, along with Senator McCain, because you can see on the ground what he's doing is not working. At the end of this month, I'll retire from the Air Force after 33 years of service. I've been a military lawyer, I've been a judge, a prosecutor, and a defense attorney. I spent 4.5 years on active duty at Rhine-Main, Germany during the Cold War. I've seen leadership up close and personal that works. Ronald Reagan knew what he was doing. It is heartbreaking to see Iraq fall apart. And the only way I know to defend this nation is for some of our soldiers to go back and partner with the Iraqis to stop ISIL before it's too late. Iran has a lot of influence throughout the region because Obama's created a vacuum that the Iranians have filled. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm Commander-in-Chief, we're going to do whatever it takes to defend our homeland and put radical Islam in a box and shut it tight, because if we don't, our way of life is in jeopardy. Our friends in Israel's very existence at stake. So this deal that he's negotiating with Iran, thank God it has to come to Congress for approval. That was my bill. Working with Senator Corker, from Tennessee, we're able to convince Republicans and Democrats to require any deal with the Iranians to come to the Senate and House for our approval. If it is a good deal, I will vote for it. If it's a bad deal, I will vote against it. and there can be no deal with Iran that doesn't require any time, anywhere inspections of their nuclear facilities, including their military facilities. The Iranians cheat and they lie. They're a radical regime. They want a master religion for the world. The Nazis wanted a master race. And if I were President of the United States, I'd tell the Iranians, if you want a peaceful nuclear power program, you can have it. If you want an enrichment program to one day make a bomb like North Korea had, you're not going to have it. And if you want a war, you're going to lose it. Anything short of that doesn't resonate in the Mideast. Obama's been weak and indecisive. He's allowed our national security to deteriorate, and it's time now to have a new voice on the world stage for the United States. To our friends in Israel, if I'm President of the United States, you can sleep well at night. I will not abandon you. God blesses the nation that blesses Israel. I believe that to my core. We're cutting our military budget in an insane way. I'm going to work with Democrats and Republicans to restore defense spending before it's too late. We're on track to have the smallest military since 1940 in the Army, smallest Navy since 1915, and grounding hundreds of fighter planes by the Air Force at a time when we need them all the most. The world is in chaos. Putin's on the march. The Chinese are rattling their sabers. Radical Islam is coming back to our shores if we don't stop it. So if I'm President of the United States, our friends can rest assured, and our enemies are going to have somebody new to deal with. Back here at home, 80 million baby boomers like myself are going to retire in the next 25 years. We're going to want our Social Security payments, and we're going to want Medicare bills paid. The retirement of the baby boomers is going to wipe out Social Security and Medicare. We're going to have to do something like Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill did back in the 80s. Find a way to adjust the trust fund so that it survives the retirement of the baby boomers. Younger people are going to have to work a little longer, and people in my income level are going to have to take a little less than promised. I'm 59, I'm not married, and I don't have any kids. I would give up some of my future benefits because I could afford to do so to help those who need it more than I do. Half today's seniors are in poverty if it weren't for a Social Security check. So I don't need a lecture from Democrats about Social Security. I'm proud of my conservative record. I'm unashamedly pro-life. I'm the chief sponsor of a bill called the Pain Capable Bill that will prohibit abortions at 20 weeks. 5 months into the pregnancy, you allow wholesale abortions in the United States, abortion on demand. We're one of 7 nations in the world that allows that. I'm trying to change that. I want to get us out of that club. The House passed the bill. I'm going to take it up in the Senate. We got challenges here at home. National security challenges, domestic challenges. America has been very good to me. There was a time when I thought my world was come crashing down, but because of my family, my friends, and my faith, I got back up on my feet, and I never dreamed I'd go from the back of the restaurant to the United States Senate, maybe one day to the White House. Here's my promise. I would carry our banner proudly. I would take the fight to her in a respectful way. I'd let every American know that conservatism is for them too. I'd build a coalition of minorities who believe in family, who believe in faith, who believe in traditional marriage, to come together and create a coalition that could win. I want a Republican Party based on sound conservative principles where everybody is welcomed. Thank you so much for caring for our party. Let's choose wisely among this good group of Republicans, because failure is not an option. God bless you.